Is it just me, or has mental health become a very popular topic over the last few years? And if so, why is that? Are we better at recognizing things like depression? Or maybe we've gotten better at managing it? Or are more people actually depressed today versus, let's say, 100 years ago? In an article written in 2020, they state that from the year 2015 to 2019, there were widespread increases in depression without increases in treatment. And in 2020, depression was prevalent among nearly 1 in 10 Americans and almost 1 in 5 adolescents and young adults. So people are actually more depressed. But why would that be? We're at the most advanced time in history. So many of life's inconveniences can now be mitigated through the advancements of technology, and yet it still seems like the more and more that we take off of our plate, the more and more depressed that we become as a society. And in another article, they state that modern populations are increasingly overfed, malnourished, sedentary, sunlight deficient, sleep deprived, and socially isolated, and that these changes in lifestyle each contribute to poor physical health and affect the incidence and treatment of depression. So, just from that one statement alone, we know that there are so many compounding factors or confounding factors that can lead to depression, making it a very complex subject and a difficult condition to manage. But let's just dive into one that I think ties into what I stated just a little while ago, that being that we are at the most advanced time in history, and yet still for some reason we're unhappy. Let's tie this into the concept of relativity. And no, I'm not talking about Einstein's theory of relativity. This isn't that deep, at least I don't think. I'm referring to our own viewpoint relative to someone else's. Whether we are satisfied with our salary, dinner order, cell phone provider, or healthcare depends to a large extent on how much our social circle is financially compensated, whether our dinner partner got a more appetizing entree, how much our colleagues are paying for their monthly mobile plan, or whether our family doctor is more competent than other practitioners. It's not just a good product or service that we expect to receive, it's a superior product or service. I remember a while back I was listening to a podcast that Joe Rogan did with Elon Musk. And I think if you would ask, maybe not the majority of people, but at least a good majority of people, would you want to be Elon Musk? They would say yes. They would say yes. Why? Because he's the richest man in the world. And who doesn't like money? Well, Rogan asked Elon, what would it be like being you? And Elon took, one of those long pauses where he sits back and kind of ponders the universe real quick and said, I don't think you'd want to be me. And why would that be? From the outside looking in, him and his companies are achieving, or in some cases at least striving, towards miraculous feats. But along with those things has come an immense amount of stress. I can tell you from personal experience that running a business is just pretty much constantly putting out fires, except the fires that he is putting out are 100 times greater, probably even more. Think about it. He's not being bothered about, things like ink in the printer being low. He is going into a meeting and trying to figure out, how do we make it to where this multi-million dollar aircraft or rocket doesn't blow up? But I don't think that most people look at this situation or his situation like that. They look at his net worth and think, wow, that must be nice. There's pros and cons to everything, right? And the only thing that we can control is our outlook of a situation. I'll give you a personal example. At the beginning of the year, I moved into this new office. And my actual office is great. I love it. I got to design pretty much everything about it. So it's almost everything that I wanted. And when people would ask me if I liked it, I would say just that. It's great. So much nicer than my last place. But I would always end up saying, but the traffic heading home now is just ridiculous. If traffic is bad, which it pretty much is every day, it could take me upwards of 45 minutes to make it all the way home. And after a few times doing this, I thought maybe I should reframe how I'm looking at this. For one, this now gives me essentially free time every day that I can fill by calling and checking in on my friends or family, or catching up on a podcast that I was looking forward to, or whatever it may be. But also, now that I've been making that commute for 6 months now, it doesn't upset me anymore because that's just what I expect to encounter. And so now, if I head home and for whatever reason it only takes me 30 minutes, I'm pretty stoked. But at my old office, I could get home in 15 minutes, no traffic, right? Moral of the story is that it's all relative. How can we take out our preconceived notions and really analyze the meaning that we're choosing to ascribe to whatever that particular situation may be, whether good or bad? As the saying goes, the grass is always greener on the other side. But with social media today, we're not only analyzing our neighbor's grass, we're looking at the grass of some stranger who we've never even met before and lives on the opposite end of the world. I don't think we were designed to have so much information at our fingertips. And look, I'm not complaining because I love the conveniences that I am afforded because of the advancements of technology. But I want to at least encourage you to be cognizant of this next time that you're stuck scrolling for hours on end on your telephone.